Hello, everybody. Welcome into Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today, we have a lot to cover. I hope everybody had a great weekend. The Olympics wrapped up yesterday. We're going to take a look, go through everything, all the major storylines for that for the U.S. Olympic team. Excuse me, as they take the title. I know there's no winners in the Olympics, but they take the title in the Olympics as far as total medal goes. We'll talk about that in segment 2. We'll take a quick look over at the preseason games from this weekend. The rookie quarterbacks in the NFL had their first NFL action. We'll take a look at that, see who had the best performance, see who had the worst performance, where we need to improve, who looks like a future star. Then we'll take a look at the AP poll. The AP poll, the first preseason poll, came out earlier today. We'll go through it, see what they had, see who's number one, see if I would make any changes before continuing our coverage of the NFL offseason with the Tennessee Titans, taking a look at their offseason, giving them a grade, talking about everything that they did before going over their schedule and giving them a record prediction for the 2024-2025 NFL season. But before we get into any of that, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat button that is right there next to chat. You can leave a tip or donation for either of those. I appreciate anything you guys do give. If you do, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Monday afternoon. But like I was saying, we are going to start off our show today talking about the Olympics. The 2024 Paris Games have officially wrapped up. It ended on Sunday. Lots of great action throughout the entire weekend, ending up in a tight race between the U.S. and China, especially down the stretch there, for who would get the most gold medals. At that point, the U.S. had wrapped up the total medal count. They finished with 126 total medals, 40 of them gold, tying with China. And it really, like I said, it really did come down to the stretch. China had a lead in the gold medal department all the way through the majority of Sunday. But right at the end, a couple of medals came in for the U.S., including one with the women's basketball team winning a gold medal yet again. Their sixth straight gold medal. They have never lost a gold medal since women's basketball has been introduced into the Olympics. It's insane. This was the closest it has ever been. I, like a lot of people around the country, had pre-counted that medal because of how dominant the U.S. women had been in the Olympics. And it's hard to overstate how dominant they have been in the Olympics. They have won, now with that gold medal game, 61 straight games. That is an insane number. 61 straight games of continued dominance for the U.S. women's basketball team. No one has touched them. They are undefeated. It is crazy to see. Diana Taurasi wins her sixth career gold medal in basketball. 6 gold medals in any sport is insane, but especially one like basketball, where not only do you have to be on the Olympic team for all of them, but your Olympic team has to win. First of all, going back to that number, 61 straight games, is hard to picture. That's practically an entire season. That's more than a season in the WNBA right there. That's almost a full NBA season of just straight victories. That is domination of the world, but we almost saw it come down in that gold medal game. The U.S. down 10 points by double digits multiple times to France, who is really emerging as one of the top basketball countries. I know we've started to see it, obviously, with the emergence of Wemby in the NBA, as well as the top 2 picks in this year's draft, and any other number of French accolades that have been coming overseas to the U.S. in NBA basketball. But the women's team, obviously, giving the U.S. the biggest scare that any team has ever given them. Not only did they only lose by 1 point, they lost by half a shoe. If you weren't watching that game, at the very end down the stretch there, the US hits two key free throws to, extend the lead to 3 points after coming back from down 10 points in that third quarter, which is not a comfortable position for this team, not a position this team has ever been in. But they hit two key free throws to go up 3 with 4 seconds left in the game. France gets a shot off. It goes in. They bank it off the backboard, a deep shot. It was a 2, not a 3. It hits off the backboard, goes in. Her foot was on the line, unfortunately. That was inches away from sending the game to overtime, and you literally cannot get any closer than that. The U.S. secures their 40th gold through there, ties China to get the medal count. But not just women's basketball won gold, men's basketball as well. And they had to overcome a lot of different adversity. And I want to get to other things that aren't basketball, and maybe we'll go over them a little bit in some other segments here. But men's basketball as well. LeBron, I mean, we know the story of this team, right? LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant put together a super team, an Avengers-level team, as a lot of people are calling it. They assembled the best in world from the US. Obviously, they have to go through lots of other juggernauts of teams. And this is really the first time in the history of basketball where we can see the world has really caught up. There's times where the US hasn't won gold, right? But this is the first time where the US sent a super team and they almost didn't pull it out. Steph Curry with the heroics in the semifinals and the finals. The reason that the U.S. is continued to be champions of the world in basketball there. Jokic puts up a huge fight in that semifinal game, but in that gold medal game, Steph Curry puts them away. 12 straight points on his own, hitting clutch 3 after clutch 3, including what had to be a heat check over 2 guys from the logo, basically. An insane shot to send France home. And this is going to be a fun rivalry. There's been lots of talk about what the U.S. Olympic team is going to look like in 2028, and maybe we'll have that discussion tomorrow because we do have a lot to get through here today. But this French team is going to be really good in 2028. Off of the basketball court, one of the things that I wanted to draw attention to in this Olympics, especially for the US, was the track. And, kind of related there to basketball, Noah Lyles, he kind of egged the US on, calling them, saying, you're not champions of the world, you're champions of America. You don't come out and compete against everyone. Just I believe that was 3 years ago he comes out and says this. But this is this is a world event, and the track is out there, and I was really impressed by the U.S. track, particularly by the U.S. Distance runners. Now we'll get to Noah Lyles and the sprinters in a second, but the U.S. historically has not been very good in long distance running. This Olympics, they broke it. They win medals in the 400. They win medals in the 1500. They win medals in just about every different track you can. Obviously, this is not their strong suit. Usually, the medals from the U.S. track come from the sprinters. You have Noah Lyles obviously getting that gold medal in the 100, a 100-meter race that was literally as close as you possibly can get. The entire field was separated by less than half of a second, I believe. And they had to go to photo finish to get the top 4, not just the gold medal, but to get the top 4. And it was all decided by a lean. It was great technical ability by Noah Lyles there to pull out the gold medal on the track, as well as in the 200. Now, the 200 is a different story, and a lot of people, a lot of NBA fans want to dog on Noah Lyles here. And to be honest, I don't understand it. I know what he said, right? I know he said world champions of what, right? They're not world champions, whatever. There's no reason to go this hard on him. What he did was almost as impressive as anything else in the Olympics. Now, I will say he pushed himself to do it, so it's on him. Noah Lyles runs the 200, wins bronze. Obviously not his best performance. At the end, he collapses, had to get wheeled off in a wheelchair. Uh, it's revealed just a couple hours later he had COVID and he ran the 200 third in the top 8 athletes in the world, the top 8 fastest people in the world. Noah Lyles with COVID is still the third fastest. COVID, obviously, respiratory disease affects your lung capacity, which is why he had trouble breathing at the end. That is incredibly impressive. His ability to race through COVID is insane. Now, do I think he should have been out there? Not for me to decide. I am not a doctor. The doctor said he was fine. I do think that that is maybe not the best decision, not only for his health, but for the health of other competitors. But that, again, is besides the point. It's incredibly impressive what he did there on the track. Moving away, getting closer to the beginning of the Olympics, I want to take a quick look at the pool. Katie Ledecky, we talked about her a little bit. She became the most decorated women's athlete in the history of the U.S. Olympics, winning, I believe, 2 golds and a silver in this Olympics. She cleaned up in the pool, of course, as she always does, doing her patented beat a whole maybe 2 laps ahead of her entire competitors in the women's 1500. It's incredibly impressive what she does in that event. Top 20 times of all time all belong to Katie Ledecky. And the last thing that I want to take a look at before we move on to our next segment here, Simone Biles is insane. At 27 years old, which doesn't sound that old, but for a gymnast is incredible longevity, getting her 7th gold medal, winning 2 gold medals as well as a silver is incredible. She's one of the most explosive athletes alive, point blank period. And it's incredible to watch her go to work constantly in the Olympics. Hopefully she has another one left in her. A 31-year-old gymnast would be unheard of. 27 is already unheard of. I mean, in gymnastics, you have girls and guys come in and at their prime of their athletic Olympic careers, they're 16, they're 14, they're not even in college. They're in high school. Some of them are in middle school. It's insane how young these girls start and how young these girls qualify for the Olympics. But congratulations to the U.S. Congratulations to every athlete that won a gold medal. It wasn't without its own controversies, and I know we didn't get into a lot of that, but it was a great Olympics, I have to say. Almost every event was extremely entertaining. There's always something to watch there in the Olympics. Let me know what your big takeaway was for these 2024 Paris Olympic Games. If there's anything that I missed that you want me to cover, we'll go over it tomorrow or maybe in a later segment. Go ahead and throw that in the comments. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the rookie quarterback performances from the 2024 Week 1 of the preseason in the NFL. Take a look at what the rookie quarterbacks did, who showed out, who could have had a better performance, and what we expect in the future from these guys after just one showing in the NFL. So stick around for that. We'll be right back here on Sports by GSMC Podcast Network.